Okay, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about churn, okay? Specifically for a SaaS company. So I'm just back from Rome. I'm freaking exhausted, but I know I've been really bad at putting out my content. I've been doing some interviews with founders. I've just not got around to putting them out. So I thought I would make a quick little intro video, kind of ghetto style. You can see it's just me in my office, just putting it out. I thought I'd explain to you exactly what is going to be in this video so that you know what you're going to get out of it, okay? So in this episode, we'll be talking with a founder. He's a good founder, typical good founder who's building a company, but hasn't quite nailed everything. He's making revenue, he's profitable, he's got a small team, he's hustling away, and it's going relatively well. But he's coming across, stumbling points where he knows things are not working out, but they need to get better. And what he's figured out is the months that he's retaining his clients on average is not as high as it should be. And like as a SaaS company, you're basically like bringing a bucket to a bath and trying to fill it up and fill it up with money, okay? Like that water is money. But if you've got big holes in your bucket as you're, paling that into that bucket, you're just losing all this money. And right now that's happening to him. So there's something fundamental in his business which is not quite working. And this conversation we're going to have today is about things that he should be working on or trying to figure out, like these hard things to figure out how he can make his business model pop, okay? And there's no easy answers, especially when you're constrained with resources. So what should you be prioritizing? Now, I'm just back from Rome. I was giving a speech to like a whole bunch of angel investors about how they should think about investing in companies. And one of the things I talked about managing risk factors are that there are things where you know, and there are things that you don't know, your knowns or unknowns. And you can map that out with your level of knowledge and understanding to, unknown unknowns or known knowns, right? The most fundamental thing you as a founder need to be figuring out are your known unknowns. These are the key fundamental parts of your business, which you haven't figured out, but you really do need to figure it out if you're going to make your business pop and not just get by, but live an awesome life, right? So we're going to be talking with a guy called Lior, who's running a company called Scopeleads, who's helping digital marketing agents companies, his core niche, make more money. And everyone cares about making more money. And he knows there's things he doesn't know, his known unknowns. And the conversation is funny around like, how can he progressively work through and figure out those unknown aspects and make them known so that he knows what he needs to do and validate that aspect of his business. There's no clear answers here. There's a lot of food for thought. But if you are like a normal, good founder who's just trying to make the business pop, this might be an interesting conversation for you to reflect upon and hopefully, contribute to getting you to think about your business. Now, let's just get into it. Okay, guys, bye. So today we've got a chat with Lior, who's going to tell us about a startup and problems he's facing, and then we're going to have a little chat about it. So Lior, why don't you kick things off?
Sure. So the startup is not so much of a startup anymore. It's been almost 3 years, and it's called Scopeleads. So I used to do SEO full-time, digital marketing, and I noticed a big problem in the marketplace among SEOs was that they don't have any automation when it comes to getting clients. So I would sit there every Sunday manually, like building prospecting lists in Google and then reaching out to people via cold emails, sending them follow-ups and things like that. So Scopeleads is a tool that completely automates that process.
So there's a couple of people around like this, aren't there? Like Ninja Outreach, I think Mailshake is slightly different, but it's basically automating the outreach process, right? And the follow-ups.
So there's some that automate the follow-up process, and there's some that just focus on leads. Scopeleads is one of the only ones to actually combine them with just one click. They're being followed up, personalized, and it's unique that it only searches for people that are lacking in digital marketing on their website.
Oh, so this is specifically for digital marketing.
Yeah, that's the niche. I mean, we started seeing like random niches use it that are B2B, like people wanting to sell wholesale retail stores and things like that. But it's mainly built for marketers, yeah.
And so the niche for digital marketers, I presume, is meaningful for your business, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do SEO anymore, but I was so in that industry that I understood it, and it was just it just made sense to go that way.
Okay. So how old is this company?
We launched in August of 2016.
So 17, 18, so you're kind of like 2 and a bit years old now. Okay. And so what's the issue that you're facing here?
Issue is mainly churn.
Okay.
We also, when we launched, we made it a lifetime price. We did a typical like internet marketing launch. And that was like something that I obviously regret now.
Yeah.
It was only a 4-day window, but we sold like 6,000 users into that. And it was insane.
For how much?
It ranged from $37 to $57.
Which is less than a month's pricing right now.
Yeah.
How much of those 6,000 do you think took a dent out of your market? Not much or meaningful?
I'm not sure. I think it was more geared towards like internet marketing, make money online type of people. That's because we did it with affiliates, so it wasn't even like $67. It was half of that because we had to pay affiliates half. And then some of them also bought upsells and things like that. So the average basket was around $130. And
okay.
Yeah, we brought a bunch of people onto it. There's still some of them that use it to this day. But
and so where's the churn happening? Is it in the initial lifetime area or is it with new customers?
No, it's definitely with new customers. Initial people obviously have it. They're not refunding now. And I believe one of the main reasons is that we don't offer free trials. So ever since day one, it was just pay, you get access, and we just haven't changed since then. And so I believe that, people are churning because they just want to try it and then they just want their money back if they don't like it.
So why do you think they're churning?
There's one of two reasons. One is that they assume the tool is meant to be like a make money platform to solve their issues. It's basically like using Gmail and complaining that Gmail didn't make you money. Right? We're just a tool. We're not going to get you clients at the end of the day. You have to know how to cold email. You have to know how to make sales. So part of it is education on our part and also the type of users we're attracting, because we still are attracting sort of make money online people versus actual agencies and things like that. And then of course is the free trial thing I mentioned.
Is that you have no free trial. So why don't you have a free trial?
It's on the roadbook. It's on the roadmap. I think a lot of it had to do with being worried that the infrastructure wouldn't be able to scale with like so many free people just like using our resources, especially the ones that we support. So maybe we should limit maybe we should limit certain features or not let them use so much.
Okay.
I just have to, maybe you can help me with that.
Okay, well, that's a good reason. As it goes. So what feedback have you got from people about where they're churning out? Have you ever done exit surveys?
We do exit surveys now. Not many people fill it out. We're actually going to put in place like an actual MPS system next week. And the answers are not good, which is why we want to put it in MPS. The answers are actually like, oh no, great software, loved it, just not for me at the time. So why aren't you still paying for it? And I didn't get a client, or they might be just answering anything because they want to get out of that awkward encounter. They don't want to be saved and retained.
I mean, do you have many people who love your product?
Yeah, I mean, we have like bucket loads of testimonials, people using it daily, people getting clients constantly. Those seem to be more of an educated user base that was already cold emailing, and now they're just saving hours, not having to build prospecting lists and things like that. We have so many testimonials for them. So we put those on the website. We try to advertise them, but are you saying we should interview them more and things like that?
There's a lot of things to this. Do you know what your LTV is like?
It's around 3 months. So
why 3 months?
What do you mean why?
Why are they churning after 3 months? Is that they can you get a defined amount of benefit out of this immediately and then you don't need it any longer?
No, you shouldn't be using it forever if it's working.
You should be, right?
Yeah.
So then there's the issue of them either not getting value out of it or not perceiving that they're getting value out of it, or maybe becoming aware of this industry and finding something else that does what they want better. I mean, there's potential all sorts of reasons, but if they're getting benefit out of it, then they should keep using it, right?
Yeah. So I think the people that are staying are the ones who understand the benefit of cold email, got lucky in their first, few sends. And the people that are leaving are just like, nah, I'm going to try a different method of getting clients, or I'm not going to pursue digital marketing any further for clients, which shouldn't be the type that we attract, but they're clearly finding no need for it after that time.
Okay, so what it seems like to me is that you've got a customer success issue here. So I read about this company the other day. It's not Okta. It's one of the companies that does like back-end server monitoring and stuff, which is a huge company's name I can't remember right now. But they give you a free trial, right? And they focus on developers. And pretty much immediately there'll be a customer service person reach out and be like, can we help you set this up, make sure that's working for you? And then like a month later, they'll kind of follow up and actually do a call, be like, is this working for you? And they actually use data analytics in the back end to see what is it people are using, what features are not being used. And then they'll be like, oh, I see you're using 1 and 2, but like, did you think about what the benefit you could get out of 3 and 4? Right, and try getting them using more of the product, right? And by the end of the trial period, they've got like a retention rate of like 80% because everyone is getting the full value out of it. And they're like, oh, cool, let's just continue the whole thing on. That's obviously a lot of work, but it's obviously working for them. But it would appear to me that there's a big issue here that people just don't get how to really use a product and get the benefit out of it. And maybe you're not managing expectations about how long it'll take before that starts generating ROI for them. It could be like, you need A/B test things, you need to go through these cycles. And then typically after this period of time, you'll get, high conversion emails, drip list or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Right, to the extent, how much education are you doing?
They have like all the webinars that we've done accessible through their thing. They also have, like what you sort of just described, done an intercom that we built recently. So if they are using one feature or they haven't used another one yet, it'll keep following up until they end up like taking action. Because we know that if they connect their email service, the next thing is going to be like, okay, send an email. There's not that much of the product that they can actually like, that is so complicated. It's just like searches and then email sending. So we try to push them towards doing it in that order.
I mean, so how many training videos do you have, for example? Do you have a library? Do you have template emails?
Yeah, so they can purchase templates right after they subscribe.
For how much?
For $47.
How valuable are those templates?
They're pretty good. I mean, the ones I used in the early days, they work. I was thinking of making them for free, if that's what you're thinking.
Yes. Because at least like if they work, people use them, then you get them paying your $67 to $99 a month, whatever, on a monthly basis ongoing, which is a lot better than trying to get like a one-off bump. Or maybe you have like the basic ones, you get them free. If you want additional ones, then you can buy them or something. But I would think about like how can you decrease the time to value as quickly as possible and take the pain out of this as much as possible.
Preload it with good templates.
Yeah, just make it really, really easy to just sign up and get going. So like I've been looking into doing, LinkedIn spamming and all these kinds of things. And I found some consultants and I found people on Upwork. I found different platforms. And at the end of the day, it's like, right, I need to kind of figure out my email sequences and scripts. Like, what kind of value add do I want to give people? Do I want to be doing this or do I want to be doing that? Like, how much is that going to cost me? How much of my time is that going to be taking up? And I just kind of end up putting it off, Whereas if it was just like, do this, it works, like, don't argue with me, just do it, and you'll get more clients, etc., then I'd be much more inclined to say, like, screw it, let's just give it a go and see what happens, right? But it's taking away all the pain or indecision away out of doing something that you may not really know.
That's a good point. What do you think about making them or offering a free email course as opposed to selling them a course?
So there's a couple of things you can do. I mean, like, even as opposed to offering a free trial, because you can't, technically do it right now anyway, you can be like, hey guys, want to learn about digital marketing, blah, blah, and you can have a lead page for that with, distinct advertising. Do you want to learn about how you can do whatever outreach really effectively and for free? And so you can put them through a funnel, get them to whatever, read that every day, every 2 days, whatever way that you want to do it. Maybe even stick a webinar in there at the end or something to try and then get them on and try and close them for something, but offer them a lot of value for free up front, where they're learning about something that they're interested in is fundamentally, content marketing. But people just kind of want to get, ultimately understand that what you're doing, and so that they can kind of, ultimately learn from you. At least on the like your consulting side, that's the mentality is you should give away all your content for free, because the reality is no one's really going to capitalize on it. All they really want to know is that you know what you're talking about. So the great extent it's possible for you, you should be thinking about, like, how can I increase the amount of value that these people get so massively that you end up getting a high NPS and a low churn rate. But, you fundamentally, the two will be correlated by the number of referrals you get, the churn rate, and obviously what you will be seen directly in an NPS survey. But right now, it seems like people are not really engaging with you enough. You don't have your, 1,000 raving fans, so to speak. So what can you do to kind of like amp that up more? And I mean, there's all sorts of little things you can do, to try and retain people and offer them lower prices if they come back when you find out the reason why they're exiting for you, and, making sure that they do an exit poll before they can actually leave. But again, it seems like you're doing something like that and not giving good information. But all these things are just like micro optimizations. They don't deal with the fundamental issues that if people are just purely churning out because they're not getting value out of it, if that's the actual reason, then that's like a bigger thing you need to deal with. And so the onboarding process can be automated. You can start doing it with someone on the phone initially to understand exactly how to do the onboarding process, where people are getting stuck if you don't know this already. But it seems like people just don't get how to use a product, and the expectations are not met in terms of how long it's going to take for them to start seeing money. Or maybe not even telling them, like, you know what, if you're selling carrots to people, like, you're going to have a super low conversion, so don't even bother, right? This works best for people who are doing this, this, and this. So maybe you're not managing people's expectations properly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But what price point do you think it actually becomes worth it to start having an onboarding person, especially on the phone?
Well, there's two things here, right? One is getting to the point where you know exactly where the stumbling points are of people when they're onboarding. So at the start, you just do it yourself because you don't know where people are getting stuck and confused, right? And you make comments for all of this, and so that you're basically building out what could be an automated process for it then, right? Because you know what matters, what doesn't matter, what people find obvious, what people find complicated. And if it can't be super explained in like a couple of sentences, then you can have a article in the repository said, to learn more, head here. Here are the top 3 tips of how you do that complicated thing. Mm-hmm. So just do it, yourself initially, until you can quite understand it and see, does it actually lead to, if you start doing it for like one cohort, see, does that lead to better cohorts, right? With lower churn. And see, because this is just a thesis, right? As to why you're currently having a high churn. I think it's a good one, but everything is just a test until you actually prove it. So I would just start doing it manually at the start to really understand what the issues of people are. And by the way, when you build rapport with people, they're much more likely to share and tell you stuff, right? Like if you just like randomly send me an automated email, everyone knows it's an automated email. I'm like, oh fuck this, I can't really be able to respond. I don't know if it's really a real person at the other end. Are they just doing it to annoy me or something? I don't know. But if it's like, hey, I'm Alex, I'm a little bit crazy, let's have a chat and let's be friendly and like I'm going to try and help you be successful, then people are much more likely to actually share. It's like, okay, I find this really confusing. I don't know what I'm doing, you know? Like why does these buttons shouldn't be here? Like, oh, I thought like if I did this, this would do something, right? And then you start learning like, why the hell are people not actually doing this? This is all stuff that you do like relatively early in the days of, building a company, right? But you really need to understand like how people are using your product and where they're getting stuck before you can really productize around that. Because your customer is your product at the end of the day.
Right.
So, I wouldn't look to automate this immediately. I'd be like, let's really understand what the hell is going on and, onboard each and every customer until you really understand how they're using your product and how they're approaching it and why you were having these issues before. And then see, like, if you do one-on-one onboarding, does that improve your cohort? It should. If it doesn't, you've got another problem, right? If it is, then it's like, okay, let's build a wizard to do a proper onboarding process using these exact steps that we kind of picked up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the bigger pain in the ass version of doing it. You could just build some wizard, right? But you don't know if it's going to work because you still don't know what the problem is.
We do know it's a bit of technical setup in the beginning. They have to set up their tracking and their DNS and their hosting to get everything like working even before they send the first email. That part is where most people get stuck. So we've
okay, go to Upwork and hire people.
What do you mean?
So for example, I sell this OKR PPP Excel tracker. Actually, I don't sell many of them. I basically give the stupid thing away for free. And 200 people get it a month, right? And it's fucking free. So I get people saying like, oh, I'm stuck with this. I'm like, how is that my problem? I gave you a free tool. The fact that you can't Google and figure out how to make the Google script automation work is not my problem, right? Because I literally am not making any money from this. It's a free thing that I made to help people out. So I was like, screw this. I can't be bothered to respond to these emails. So I just went on to Upwork, posted a job saying, looking for people who know to do Google Scripts automation. I give this free tool. I'm going to put you on my website. So when anytime people have issues, you can just do it. Right. And they cost between like $8 and $15 an hour. And it shouldn't take.
Yeah. I have full-time customer support staff.
Yeah.
What I was getting at is that's where they were stuck. So we built the intercom automation to really push them and make that part easier. Like go do this first. It's really important. And then we'll help you if you need anything like concierge style. And then you'll be able to get started. But I think you made some good points on, interviewing them first and sort of having a personal outreach even before that or when they get started so that we can see, okay, now that you have set up, what issues are you having? Do you like the product or what other questions should I be asking?
Well, just to finish my point there is, if the onboarding thing, if you get some people who are not completely incompetent and you charge the customer a reasonable amount of money to save them time, make an optional thing. For $30, we'll do the setup with a DNS and blah, blah. People are like, do I really want to mess around with this or not? Maybe some people will, maybe they won't. I don't know. Again, this is the thesis, right? But if you don't make that number so crazy, it's fine. And then in future, when you get to Happy Land where, your brand is more recognized, blah, blah, then Infusionsoft charges $2,000 for onboarding. Or when it's Christmas period, they charge $300 for onboarding. So you literally can't use Infusionsoft unless you pay them between $300 and $2,000, right? Anyway. So sorry, going back to your point was around what?
Well, yeah, so we're offering that concierge. So it's you want us to set it up? Great. Give us your password and we'll do it for you.
Yeah.
There's also an option on our end to make the leads. So a unique thing about our app is that we don't limit how many emails you can send or contacts you can store or how many leads you can find. A lot of our competitors do. Now, the thing is, if we limit how many leads we offer, like how many you can search for, then we can actually start paying third parties to collect a lot higher quality data, which may lead to better results. But then we would have to limit the users and say, okay, for this plan, you can only get like 1,000 leads a month.
What's wrong with that?
We've always been unlimited, and I think that's a really good selling point.
But is it a good selling point? Like, is it working for you? Or is it just you think it's cool?
Well, I think if people are evaluating, they see the value right away when they see unlimited versus a competitor only lets you like send 100 emails a month, which is ridiculous in my opinion.
But you just said that you can't afford, the economics don't work for you to get better quality data. So is unlimited shitty quality leads better than less higher quality leads?
Probably not.
I mean, again, people care about making money, right? At the end of the day. They're looking for like what you are selling are new clients, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, Facebook and Twitter both have these magic numbers. Facebook was the first people to start doing it. And I think Facebook was like, they needed 7 friends. Twitter, I think it was 30 people or something like that. And so for Facebook, like all the engineering they would do around onboarding was how can we get you to 7 friends as quickly as possible? Because they knew that once you got that magic number, the likelihood of you churning out was basically 0, right? Because you got it and there was enough to keep you in there. So for you need a magic number, right? And it could be 1 customer. So your magic number for you to not churn out your customers could be 1 customer. And they're like, okay, this thing works. 1 customer more than covers the cost of this monthly payment, right?
Yeah.
So think like as your North Star, every time that you have a conversation or you think about a product feature or something, you should be, the conversation should be, we should do this if it helps us get a customer in the first month. Because theoretically, if they can get one in the first month, they should get one in the second month too, because they're doing something right. But if you can't get them a client in the first month, then, right? So should we give them unlimited searches? Well, if we do unlimited search, we can't afford to get good quality data. Therefore, there's a lot of bad leads. Maybe it takes them too much time to parse everything, and therefore it's less quality. Whereas if they have less outreach but higher conversion, it's less amount to cognitively load, and therefore it's more likely to get them. I don't know how it works, but everything should be put in the perspective of how do you get someone their first client? I would think, right?
That's a good point. You can even leave the unlimited ones and then allow them to like select which ones they want to like do a deeper search, like use a credit system or something.
But it's got to come down to how do you get them the first client, or how do you get them a client every month?
Yeah, even replies. If they get a reply, they're like, "Wow, this works!" Like people are actually replying to it.
What is the kind of problem with the data here? It's like the number of outreach, right? The number of potential people getting emails that you want to kind of mitigate, is it?
Can you repeat that?
So you're saying that if you can do unlimited outreach, there's restrictions on the amount of data that you can buy, the cost or value or the quality of it.
Correct.
Why?
Because right now we built our own like scrapers and things like that to get data. So it's like free. It's a fixed cost. If we start paying for third parties like APIs, like email finders and things like that, the quality could go up, although our searches are like local B2B sort of leads. So they don't really pick those up too often. But then we would have to pay them and then essentially divide it by how many users we have, and then a certain amount of credits to each user. So you can no longer be unlimited for those premium sort of leads because we're paying for it. And if we do free trials, even that would be
costing money.
A nightmare because we're paying for them.
Well, the free trial could be 10 outreaches or something, whatever the minimum viable number is.
Right.
That gets a bit hard, but again, it's like, how can you illustrate enough value for people to see that this is worth their while?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. That's something you need to figure out. But yeah, like look. I mean, there's a lot of people in this space. I know you've got your niche, but never assume other people are stupid, especially if they're bigger or make more money than you. So always question, why are they doing something they're doing? So, do like a landscape analysis and look at all your competitors. Like, look, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? How do they structure their free trial? And look at the commonalities for that, and then extrapolate, what you should take and what you should sort of make your own. Because ultimately, like, if you're appealing to a certain niche, you should have higher conversion if you can sell to that niche particularly well, right? So the fact that you've got whatever number of searches or something may or may not matter, at least if you're appealing to a very particular niche, and that your service helps, these online marketers in a much more bespoke way than anything else. So it could be like, like if you generally want to use some outreach service, use this. But if you're a digital marketer, then you use Scopeleads because that makes the most sense, right? This is the ideal product for you. But for general people, use something else. So as long as you can build the name that you're the best for your niche, then you've kind of achieved your objective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, it doesn't say digital marketers on your website.
Yeah, there's a special landing page for it at the top.
Oh, okay. You get what I mean, right? Oh, digital marketers. Yeah.
Do you have any advice on how to price that out? Like, let's say I charge $99 a month. How much of that should I be spending towards like getting them better leads?
You mean COGS?
Yes.
Well, look, the great thing about SaaS companies is they're meant to have high gross margins, right? So if you got like a 50% gross margin, it's like, you could basically be anywhere. So I guess like 20, 25% is probably the most you'd kind of want to do. It's really also going to matter, like, what are the OpEx that's involved in there? Like, if sending, how many guys are you?
4.
But you're fundamentally scalable, right? Like, you wouldn't, if you 10 times the number of clients, right? You wouldn't have to 10 times the number of people.
Maybe just customer support.
Okay, so not much. So fundamentally, your OpEx base is fixed, right? The variable element is going to be in your COGS and also in your acquisition costs, right? So what is your CAC like?
We actually don't spend any money on advertising as of now.
What? It's SEO or what?
SEO and really just continued affiliates from the first day.
So affiliates, because your DR is like 14, so you could probably do a bit more in SEO and stuff.
What's DR?
Domain right?
Yeah, it's a brand new domain. Only went live a few months ago, and
okay.
we're paying for SEO recently.
So what is the split on affiliates?
It's 50% on the first month and then 30% moving forward.
So your what is the average price? $70, $80?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry?
$80, yeah.
Yeah, so 80. So if they're taking 50, you're getting 40. 3, 8, 24, 55 or something, and then for 2 more months, right? So 40 plus 110, $150 is basically what you're taking in net, right?
Yeah, but not everyone comes to an affiliate.
If it comes through affiliate, is most of it coming through an affiliate?
About 75% are, yeah.
Okay, so if we just look at that one channel, you're talking LTV of $50, right? So you should be spending no more than, on your CAC of 50, which I guess you're paying out directly to those guys anyway, because it's just the cost, right? So if you're looking at that 150, like how much would you typically then spend in COGS at what you're doing right now?
just the server costs and employees.
Because you got your own scrapers, etc.
Yeah.
And then math would be like, well, if you improve the data, would you increase the quality of the leads, or actually the quality of the number of new customers that someone got, right? And then it would be like, well, how many additional searches should it take, given an assumption, given a conversion rate, for that person to get a new client? What is the conversion rate? Is it 1% or something?
It's around 1 to 3% will reply.
Will reply, and then whatever, 10% will something, and 10% will something. So it's like 1 in 1,000 emails, or 10,000 emails.
No, it'll be you'll get like 1 to 2 meetings out of every 150 emails you send.
But do you know what because the close rate is what matters, right?
Right. Well, that depends on the person. That's something we can't really. We also have sales training that is available. I mean, for me, it's 1 in 4, but that's for a quality person who's willing to get on the phone.
Okay, well, maybe meetings is enough. So like if you're giving me good leads and they get on a call, I suck at the sales. We have to be pretty ignorant to know that you suck at the sales, right? That you don't suck at the sales, right? So if you're at least getting leads, maybe that's enough. So maybe your North Star is, how can I get Alex one call in the first month or every single month? So therefore the ratio is like, I don't know, whatever the number is, 1 in 1,000 emails is enough to get you a meeting. And so maybe the answer to that question is, each person needs to do 1,000 leads a month. And so I don't know what the ratio is from your existing scrapers to using third parties, but then your answer is, if it's 80-20, then maybe you need to acquire 800 data points for people every month. And
build that into the onboarding, like tell the users your North Star is getting 1 meeting, like all the training.
Maybe. And then also for your COGS calculations, you should assume that you need to do 800 whatever API calls to Email Hunter or whatever it is you're doing. Mm-hmm. Reasonably, right? Because, you're really selling value here. It's like, what is the people's perceived value that they want to derive from you? What is the minimum that you need to deliver to them for them to stay? Because that's what the top of the conversation is, a churn, right? How do you get people to stay? So maybe talk to people. It's like, what was the minimum you want to see from this in order to want to keep using our product? And maybe see if it's one meeting out of it. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe it's 2. I don't know. And then obviously, like, if there's people who are successful, then you want to interview them, your current clients, and say, hey, what are you doing? Like, how many conversions, whatever, meetings are you getting out of Scopeleads every month? And then you chuck those into email sequences to your whatever new clients to show that, yes, people actually can do it well. You just need to suck less, and then you'll be able to get clients too. So it's not us, it's you. You need to learn to get better. So like, element of social proof to show that your product actually works, right?
Case study.
Yeah, but you need to break everything down into like, what is it that people want to achieve? Because they're not buying like a 3-inch drill. They're buying a 3-inch hole, right? That's what they want. Mm-hmm. Your clients want meetings. They want clients. They want something at the end of the funnel. You're like, hey, we've got a way for you to spam people. No, it's like, we've got a way for you to close clients. Here's how you're going to get there. But don't get, the ass head up, whatever, the wrong way around. Think about what is it that people actually want to achieve, and how do you help them actually do that? How do you get them as quickly as possible? Because my guess is, if you can show people that value, they'll not churn out.
I know the value because I used to do this manually, and that's why I built this tool.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the focus on the website doesn't talk about you're going to get clients, because I didn't want to attract people. I thought it would like spit out money or something. Do you think saving time, like focusing on how much time they're going to save, because they're doing this stuff anyways, a lot of these people, right? They're sending out physical mail, they need mailing lists. Scopeleads does all that. So is focusing on time enough as a value? Time saved?
So I know a girl who, is trying to get more clients for a consulting business. And, she'll go onto LinkedIn, spam all that and whatever, do ads or, write blogs and featured blah, blah, does, all the usual things that people do. And then she heard about you can do LinkedIn automation. So she hired this guy who I've actually had a chat with, and he pays him X amounts of dollars per month. And from her perspective, it's not so much about the amount of time, but that she gets clients out of it. So she's like, oh, I've already got 3 clients out of this guy, Troy. That more than covers the cost of whatever he's doing. And so frankly, I don't care. So, I mean, that's from the sample size of 1, right? Of someone who's paying someone to actually do the outreach for them.
Sure.
So long as she gets more dollar value out of it than he's paying him per month. Because I think she's paying, say, $500 a month. He normally charges $1,000 a month or something. But she got a discount. It's a fair amount of money, right? And she actually helped with the sequences and stuff because she's a copywriter. But for her, it's like she doesn't really want to deal with the whole thing. So yeah, there's definitely a time element. But you know what? If you told her you just do this stuff manually, right, waste a bunch of time and you get clients, she'd probably still do it because she wants more clients.
Right. The first one was more of a managed service, I guess. But
yes. But the point is still about but like you said to me, okay, great. I charge $69 a month, right? And I can get you $100 worth of clients. Whereas you say I charge you $1,000 a month and I can get you $2,000 worth of clients. Well, I'm paying more in the first one, but I'm getting $1,000 worth of value, right? So the price isn't so important as the value that you deliver them.
So even enterprise level, or
people want to make money. If you're agencies, they want to. I want to make $50,000 a month. If you charge me $25,000, it's still $25K of new money.
Yeah, a lot of agencies are actually just hiring assistants and just letting them use Scopeleads all day. So we have an agency plan coming out where you can add your team and things like that. But I'm sure they'll be willing to pay a lot more to get better leads and things like that.
Or maybe you offer a managed service for it. Again, it could be a pain in the ass, but I don't know if it'll make you more money or not.
It will, but it's a pain in the ass.
Sure, but if there's enough money there, then you hire some manager who has to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, challenge all your assumptions about where is the money here, right? What is the value delivering to people? What are their objectives? And then how do you sell towards that? The ideal place to be is in value-based pricing, where they pay on the basis of the value they're deriving from it. Because that's price discrimination. That's great. Discrimination is great.
Pricing page, don't forget, one client is $1,000 a month. To really drill it home.
Yeah, ultimately. So it looks like you're doing some of the right things. You understand your business. But I don't think you understand your customer enough. And so that should be, an objective, because the more you understand it, the better you should be able to understand what the hell is going on with churn. And the best way to learn is to try and get people to actually share with you honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pain in the ass, right? But go talk to people. And maybe say, look, do you know what, guys? It's going to be a pain in the ass, but for a whole month, we're going to onboard and talk to every single customer twice. Something, right? But make this structured, right? Start out with a list of theses that you're going to prove, right? Your null hypothesis, and then go seek if you can actually prove or disprove whatever those points are. Because you obviously believe something, that's your null, figure out what the real is. Onboard people, figure out how to do a better process, figure out where maybe they don't understand things, therefore write blogs for them. What are the points of failure? How long does it take them before they get frustrated? How much time do they spend on your platform before they give up? Where do they think, oh my God, I can't do this, and then they just churn out immediately? Like your DNS thing, for example. How long does it take people to get value? Why do some people succeed more than others? What are the key things that they're doing that other people aren't doing? Do they have issues in doing the copywriting?
They could be using a different email sender that doesn't send them to spam or something. It could be a million things.
Yeah, so plug them into SendGrid or whatever it is.
So am I also trying to get them to use and stay in front of the app as much as possible? Or is it okay if I build we were thinking of an automation that every day just runs a search and it automatically emails those leads for you. So it's like an automatic salesperson.
What's wrong with that?
Is the idea, well, you always get better results when you go through the leads manually and pick out any bad ones and things like that. So is the idea that we want them to be in the app, addicted to our product, or as long as it's working in the background?
Does it help them make more money?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? That's the way I would view Lens through, right? Because people who are using you explicitly want to get clients, right?
Right.
How do you help them get more clients?
Send more emails.
If it's like, hey guys, by the way, so I don't know, I have Ahrefs, right? And every month, actually, I even got rid of it. I just bought a lifetime or whatever, like an annual subscription or something to Mangools. So I don't like as much, but anyway. But Ahrefs still sends me a weekly update about my top 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 50 rankings, etc. Yes. And I can stop saying it. So you see more details, log in. So they send you value oh, by the way, hey, Alex, we find you more leads. Log in order to filter them and then send them out. So then that's another reason to be oh, I should probably log into that thing, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So, I mean, I sign up for a lot of things just to test for it, but I forget it. I buy annual subscriptions for some shit and I even forget that I have it. I'm oh yeah, hey, I have Mangools. I should probably check that, right? So I don't use it that much, but I forget to use it. So unless you keep reminding people that, hey, here's value, come here, there's free money in them hills, come back to them hills, they're not going to do it, right?
That's genius.
Yeah, so give them more reasons to keep logging in as well. Maybe that's another factor. Do some analysis and figure out what is the average time in app, if you call it, number of logins, etc., and what's the R squared to churn. Do people who spend more time in your service get more value out of it?
What's your favorite tool for tracking all that?
I'm slightly flicked from the point that when I get to this stage of company, they're generally very, very large. And so I just have minions who do stuff and then they give me what I want. And I just look at high level metrics. So I've never had to set this stuff up myself at that level of detail. I don't know. I guess people are doing stuff like KISS metrics and stuff. Mixed panels. I think those are the main people doing it. Yeah. Google Analytics, I think you can do it as well.
Yeah. Cool.
But I'm sure there'll be massive of content about doing this really well. This just starts capping out my level of knowledge because I've never had to set it up myself.
Yeah, we actually had that running for a year, and then the data was so much. It was just yeah, I don't know what to do with all this.
But then you have to turn it into actual insight because it's one thing. Then you have analysis paralysis, right? But again, you get to Upwork or something, you find some nerd and be okay, we have all this set up mixed panel. These are the key things that I want to know. Build me a dashboard which does these 3 things.
Yeah.
Again,
hiring a nerd just to use your Excel spreadsheet.
Huh?
So I'm hiring a nerd just to use your Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
What I bought.
Yeah. But you need to get that data, right?
Yeah.
But it needs to be put into a way that's manageable. So that's the operative thing here, right? But again, for all this stuff, you can find people who are capable at doing it at specific things like this.
So I'd find some consultant, get them to help you set it up. Or maybe you know how to set it up, but then you want to find someone who can do some analysis on it.
For the onboarding, like talking to them twice a month, do you recommend right when they start up or like after they've been in for a few days?
So when I'm thinking, I can't think of any specific research that I've read on this, but I'm sure there'll be someone who's done analysis on it. If I think about myself, I will typically research all the services on the internet first, right, to figure out what's good. And then I'll sign up for it. And when I sign up for it, that's at my peak interest. And thereafter, my recollection of signing up for something which I haven't really used starts decreasing exponentially, right? So if you ping me after a week and I haven't actioned on an activity, I don't know this because I've got ADHD, but my likelihood of responding to you is going to be pretty low because I've kind of forgot about what my interest was. But if you get me pretty much immediately, if I have the time, then I'm pretty likely to then engage with you. So if you can get them like immediately on a call, I think that's probably the best. You can always send them an automated email and say like, hey, I'm your customer success manager. I want to book a call with you ASAP to help you see all the value that you can get in our service and how to get you started. And you use like a schedule once link where they can just pick a time that they want. I guess that could be another way of doing it. But I personally don't think you want the time to go on too long. Yes, there may be, a correlation between people who are still interested after a couple of days versus, goldfish like me. But I don't have a theory around that.
Right.
But my inclination is that you'd want to get into them relatively fast.
Right.
It's just my feeling because they'll be more interested, right?
If it's just for a month or two, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but again, I mean, like the goal here really, like with what I'm saying is this doesn't necessarily scale unless like your LTV is really high, right? The goal is learning here. So you know what, depending on what your operating hours are, if you're there and the person's just signed up, like see if you can get on a call with them as quick as possible. Just do it, right?
Yeah.
But the goal here is learning, right? So how can you learn from them as much as possible? So you want to be friendly, you want to share, you want to create an environment where they're happy to share with you too, right? Because you need them to be open. So if you're too professional and stuff and they're like, oh, I don't want to look stupid in front of this guy or something, then they won't necessarily share. You need to get them to be like, oh, okay, I don't really understand this, I don't understand that. So you need to be friendly and kind of like, hey, so like, let me know what you have trouble with. Want to make sure that you really understand everything.
So customer support is like, we have like pretty much instant reply on chat.
Yeah.
For like majority of the day. Do you think that's not the same? Because we're really friendly over there. We respond to people right away and when they have a question. We're not like asking them, hey, what are you looking to get out of the software and things like that. But
yes, you're answering specific questions that they have, but there's probably things that they're not aware that they don't understand. But also think of it as like, okay, they have questions, but you got questions too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you want to extract information out of them. But you can also phrase things up so I understand you better to make sure that we can customize this experience for you. How do you want to use this software? Blah, blah. What are the real problems that you're having with your business? Okay, so you're looking to get more customers. Okay, what are the things that you've tried and why haven't they worked? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you do that, then this might work really well. Oh, okay, that sounds smart.
Yeah, I gotta write those down.
Yeah, but you just try and learn as much from them as possible to understand why people are really using your business. Like, what is the problem that they're actually solving for, right? What is the goal that they want to achieve? And then orientate your business around that. But I always start with a thesis that you seek to prove or disprove, and then come up with a new one as more data presents itself. So your operating thesis could be, I believe digital marketers are the core client for our service because of these three reasons, right? They are looking to get more clients with an average ARPA of something. The reason why that they are churning out of our product is because they don't see enough value within the time period of 2 weeks, which they've set for themselves to see if they can get a client. And then go and see if you can prove or disprove that. And then as data presents itself, be like, okay, data has proven that this part of my thesis is wrong. I therefore have to change it.
The interesting thing about the clients that we get is because most of them are from affiliates, the affiliate, let's say they had a course on how to get clients. They have a module in the course showing them using Scopeleads, and they recommend it with their affiliate link. The person is already like pre-sold on the idea. They've already seen the inside of the app. They understand the value of it. So it'd be interesting to see to ask certain questions based on that. Like, you saw it already, you know what it does. You saw your guru use it. Now, why aren't you getting value out of it?
Yeah. And why is the affiliate doing a shit job at sales? Maybe you need to educate your affiliates better. Right? Has they set such a high expectation that people are never going to meet them? So maybe he sets expectation, but when they come to your platform, you reset the expectation. So like, okay, you may even make a video and be like, all right, guys, welcome to Scopeleads. All right. In this, we're going to have 4-week, in this 4-week trial or whatever they pay to sign up. In the next 4 weeks, we're going to help you get your first client, right? This is not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but I promise you, once you get this process running, it'll be the simplest, automation to get new clients for you for like the low price of only $99 a month. Hey, and let's face it, if you're getting $1,000 a month per client, this is like the best ROI you're ever going to get in your life. Okay. Now, the things we've observed about why people do really well and why people do badly are these three things. One is that the copy, they keep on changing the copy, right? Blah, 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 targeting the leads. We help you identify an unlimited number of leads, but all leads are not created equal, right? You still need to target these people. So people do the best to do these whatever targeting things. So we're going to take you through how you're going to do that really well. And the third thing is this, right? And if you do this, promise you or your money back, you'll be able to get at least one meeting with a client. We don't teach you how to do sales here. So all we can promise is you get the meeting, blah, blah, right? If you want to know about sales, we've got a great partners here. They can help you out with that or some shit like that. I don't know. But maybe that's how you set the expectation. Like, here, we're going to help you out. We're going to help you achieve this thing. If you do these things, we promise that you'll get that done. And let's face it, like if they actually put in the work and they don't get a meeting after their first month, product's probably not going to work for them anyway.
Yeah, if they put in the work.
That's what you need them to do, right? They need to put in the work. Mm-hmm. And then you give case studies of, look, Mary got 3 clients after first month. Jim did this and he got 20 after his second month. The first month was hard. He only got 1, but you know what? As he kept tweaking things started working really well for him. So there's an element of what I call mind fucking, which is getting people to do things that they want to do, but in the way that you want them to do it. But understanding their mentality and then using that against them, right? Do you want to be a loser? No, then do this. Losers don't do A/B testing, right? Yeah.
I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, but prioritize, right? But understand what is it that you're trying to solve for, right? And then break it down into a series of parts. Like break that into theses of what you believe is to be true for each of those. And then say, okay, what are the tests that we think we should do to prioritize? What is the amount of time that it's going to take us to do that? And then pick them, do them, but ship them, right? Not just like, no construction sites, like ship them. And maybe it's a bigger initiative that, do you know what? This is just going to take us more time. So if we're going to commit the company to doing 1 month of talking to every customer twice or something, we should probably plan that properly, right? here are all the distinct things that we're going to do. Here are the surveys, the questions that we want to get from people, and maybe plan it properly.
Got it.
But get other guys in your company to be around and say, like, guys, here's my thesis, that here are things I'm going to solve for. Let's have a brainstorm and figure out, like, if we were to do a sprint of every customer twice in a month, what are the key data points that we'd all want to kind of get from them? Like, how are the questions? What are the things that we would do? What are the goals that we do? What incentives we do? And like, get everyone to like brainstorm with the whiteboard and stuff, and get everyone kind of excited about it, and be like, our goal is, can we cut churn in half in 3 months' time? Set like a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, and see if like you can make it happen. So if you set something like, okay, guys, our churn is currently 50%. We want to have this 10%, okay? 5x decrease. That's like a big goal, right? We've got 3 months to do it. If you were to do this, what were the things you would do to decrease it, right? Because if you start having like 10x thinking, you start thinking more expansively.
Yeah.
Another thing, just like Captain Obvious, is put some time in studying churn and figuring out what companies did to decrease their churn as well. So those are other theses that you can test in tests, and maybe have benchmarks on them. So like Growth Hackers, growthhacking.com, and these guys, growthhackers.com, I think it is. They have case studies about how they decrease the churn rates and stuff. So you can see, what the churn rate was before, what it was afterwards from that test. I think, you know what, maybe this is a test that we do, and you can see, you can benchmark yourself against their performance as well. Because numbers are good, right? But that's an obvious thing to do. But yeah, set like a big, hairy, audacious goal for like everyone in the company. Get everyone to brainstorm and think expansively about what you'd have to do to achieve that. Prioritize those things, particularly with engineering resources, and then get to work and make sure you've tested everything though.
Let's say the business has cash. We have some cash. Should we sacrifice some profitability in order to make all this happen faster?
Yeah, why not? So long as you can afford it. You're bootstrap, right?
Yeah.
So the only important thing is just make sure that you've got enough runway that you don't die, right? Because that's the big thing.
But then we can do this for 3 years, just breaking even, but making the product unbelievable.
Yeah, but that's the goal, right? Is that you want to make the product unbelievable. And that only happens if customers think it's unbelievable, not you, right? And you know that because you can increase your price and your churn rate's low. But you know there's a problem now, so you need to do something to fix it. So what are the things that you need to do to fix it? Like, if you know that churn is a big issue for you right now, I'd stop spending money maybe on doing marketing, because what you have is a leaky bucket. Let's say your goal is to fill a bathtub, right? And you live in some shitty old house where you've got to go outside to fill up your bucket from a tap, right? And you have to walk into the corridor and get to your bathtub and fill it up, right? So when you've got churn, you've basically got like a big ass hole at the bottom of that bucket, right? So you go outside, you turn on the tap, and the affiliate leads come in and they start filling out your bucket. And then whilst you're standing there, leads already going through. And as you're walking through the corridor, getting to your bucket, the carpet's getting soaked, right? And you get there and like 10% of those leads/water are filling up your bathtub, right? Like the MRR that you want or the ARR that you want. So what is the point of having lots of water coming into that tub if you've got a big ass hole in the bottom? Like fuck all, right? So that you filling up that bucket before you look to scale your company should be the most important thing that you do. Because they're just coming in and going straight out the bottom of the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could have like a 60, these numbers are not going to be great, right? But you could have like a 60% year-on-year growth rate and a 50% churn rate, or you could just have a 10% growth rate and 0% churn. You fundamentally be in the same place, right? And the amount of money it would cost you in acquisition costs would be fundamentally different. I mean, you'd have enough money for bottles and models, right?
So you can spend more money like down the road.
Yeah, but if you don't fill up that leaky bucket, you're going to keep having this problem, right? And if you've got a niche, there's probably not an unlimited number of customers in the world, right? The downside also of a niche is that word of mouth happens. What do you use? So it's much better to have 100 customers that absolutely love you than like 10,000 customers that don't really give a shit. Because you can work with that, right?
Yeah.
So if you got money in the bank, sure, just don't blow it, right? Again, like, current constraints enable creativity. But sure, maybe getting some people to do customer care, hiring some interns or something to help you do this, why the hell not? But just think like how you should really use the money, because it's really easy. If you have money, it's really easy to blow at stupid things.
Yeah.
When you don't have money, you're like, okay, how should we really go about solving this? So if you have the money, like still think like you're a poor startup and you've only got $100 left in the bank and everything should be spent judiciously, right? So do you know what? The doors in Amazon, have you heard that story that Amazon buys doors for desks? They actually used to do that, right? So they used to have desks which are made of doors. I think they did it in the early days just because they had doors, but the doors actually are more expensive to buy than desks. So I don't think they do it anymore, but they used to buy desks for doors for desks, because it was just this attitude of being really cheap, right? Your margin is my opportunity. And so it became this anecdote, like, where else can you save money on? But it was like in this entire mentality, right? And, cash is like the lifeblood of startups. So just be like really cheap about where you spend your money. So if you can accelerate things, great. What is the ROI on you hiring 5 interns or something at $1,000 a month to do this? It's $5,000 a month. What is your churn rate? If that's meaningful, but maybe if you could save 10% of that, then who cares? That's the time value of that money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you do have a problem right now, then this should be a priority. If you're aware that this is your number one issue, make it your number one issue to solve for.
Yeah.
But also, like if everyone else in your company cares, like don't just give them the answer of what we're going to do. Like you enable them to be like, guys, we have a problem in churn. Let's talk about this and figure out how we're going to solve it so that then they have some ownership over it as well, right? Because everyone will have different ideas and different observations. So everyone's viewpoint should be taken equally and given the opportunity to kind of have ownership of these things. All right, a lot to think about.
I hope this is recorded. No, it is.
Okay. All right, buddy. Great talking to you. I hope that was valuable.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, Lior. Bye.